Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're located. Welcome to today's MicroFocus webinar, and just to make sure you're in the right session, this is automated monitoring develops golden data, automated AIOps, and with OpsBridge, make it shine. So that's the webinar we're in today. We've got about an hour. I want to say thank you to MicroFocus for being the sponsor of this session. My name is Jim Copio, and I'm the host of this session. I happen to have 20 years with Vivid, going back to OVFI days and HPE software, as well as 20 years as a partner company called Whitlock, which focuses on the ITOM portfolio and AIOps. So a little bit about me. Want to move into our speakers. We have 3 of them today, and they should be on your screen, but Wes Cooper is the product marketing manager of the OpsBridge MicroFocus portfolio, and he develops, drives, maintains go-to-market strategies for OpsBridge solution. He's been with MicroFocus HPE software for about 5 years, and actually wears quite a few hats, but that's his main role for today. We also have, after that, Bala, and Bala has 2 decades of experience in software development, and he specializes in driving product strategy and customer value delivery. And last but not least, Kara will be presenting, Kara McMillan, and she's focused on the development of dashboards and reporting capabilities and many other things in the OpsBridge suite, similar to Bala, 20 plus years experience in the software industry. I'm sure they can elaborate when they each get on the podium. A little bit of housekeeping, please. This is a live session, so one thing, when this is over in a few days, you will get a link after the fact that you can click on to get the recording. You can get to the slides, get to the Q&A, so lots of post-webinar opportunities to keep this moving and learning. Also, very important, we want to get your feedback today and of course after the webinar. So there'll be a big opportunity to use the chat screen. And if you look on, well, it could be on the right-hand side mostly, but there is a chat screen and you can just, yeah, the next slide probably shows a picture of it. Yeah, there you go. So you basically just type in your question. Keep it concise and to the point if you can. So we may have many questions. We want to try to get to each one. Hit the send button. They're going to go in a queue, and then we're going to be able to address those questions mostly towards the end of the session, and we'll get to everyone that we can. And again, you'll see that as a post-webinar output in terms of the answers to all the questions. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the base slide, again, Operations Bridge, and I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter. Wes, please take it over.
All right, well, thank you, Jim, for the intro there. It's great to be with you guys today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out in the world today. I'm excited to go ahead and dive in. We got a lot of content, really some great, exciting stuff to share with you guys today. So here's a look at our agenda. We're going to just start kind of with a high-level market overview of hybrid IT and the landscape that we're seeing today, what we're talking with customers about and analysts. We've actually got some updated news from one of our industry analysts, enterprise management associates, that we're going to share with you guys today. And then we're going to look at, how OpsBridge works with our intelligent data lake, collect once, store once, to really help you centralize all of your golden data and visualize that data in some really cool ways. And then we're going to wrap up with a couple of demos today to show you these features in action. And then we'll have some time to get you guys questions in the end of this session. We definitely would love to have your feedback on kind of what we're talking here today, and keep dialogue open with you guys. So Kara, if you'll go ahead and move to the next slide, please. So definitely I see some familiar faces here in the room. A lot of our customers here today. I've had an opportunity to meet you guys at some of our events, and you've probably seen this slide if you've been to ITOM Summit or MicroFocus Universe this week. And really today we are in the landscape of hybrid IT. environments today. So, capturing all your golden data really requires domain-specific monitoring. Every customer that we're working with today is hybrid, and we ourselves in Micro Focus are working in a hybrid environment as well, running our own company. And innovation has been really at the forefront for most organizations today. They want to get out there, IT ops teams, and have the ability to innovate and do some different things. But of course, with that, there comes a lot of complexity that gets added to the environment. We have a ton of data, that's exploding in environments today. Business services and apps are now being ran in hybrid and multi-cloud, deployments. And then the Internet of Things has brought this whole new dimension to the term connected. So, while hybrid IT has brought big business opportunities for a lot of organizations out there, it's definitely bringing forth some new challenges for IT ops teams. And there's three of those that I think we're going to do a really good job of covering those today and how we address that. Number one is, how can I make sense of all this data that I have? And how do I prioritize the workloads to business priority and impact? How do I make I've got a ton of data out there, right? How do I narrow it down into the most important data and get the insights that I can communicate to the business? So we're also going to talk about, hey, how do I go out and visualize? How do I illustrate those insights in a way in which my business stakeholders can understand and we can communicate equally on? So these are some of the topics that we're going to be addressing today. And if we can go ahead, Kara, and go ahead and go on to the next slide. So this is some really exciting news that I'd love to share with you guys. The title here we have is Go with a Leader. So, as you embark or continue to evolve on your hybrid IT management journey today, it's really important to choose an industry leader that can really help you to evolve your enterprise through digital transformation. So we were just named a leader in Enterprise Management Associates report, Leaders in Advanced IT Analytics. And that report basically defines several requirements and capabilities that every enterprise should be looking at moving forward with an AIOps solution. And so you've got a couple of quotes here at the bottom of the screen. I'm not going to read those out, but you can read through as I'm talking here. We're going to share these slides from today, and these are two assets that we are distributing completely, complimentary out to you guys, and definitely would encourage you to go through them to read about what EMA is saying about us and their vendor profile they did for Micro Focus, about what we're doing from an analytics perspective, what we're doing from an automation perspective. They really that's really a key differentiator for us today, is our automation capabilities with OpsBridge. And there's definitely some light that's shed on that in that paper that you see in the report. Also, we've got the Operations Bridge white paper that EMA recently wrote for us. And they went out and actually interviewed 4 of our customers, actual customers, and talk to them about how they're utilizing Operations Bridge Ultimate today, how they're driving analytics in their environment with the solution, and the actual results that they're driving in their environments today. So definitely would encourage you guys to get a hold of those. We'll get those distributed out to you today. And any questions you have on those, we'd be more than happy to set up some time to talk with you guys about them. Kara, if we could go to the next slide. So if you've been around OpsBridge webinar before recently, if you've been at ITOM Summit, Micro Focus Universe, one of our recent CAB events, you've probably seen somewhat of a version of this. This is our high-level kind of architecture slide that focuses on really all of our use cases that we're dealing with OpsBridge, or the main ones, I should say. And the whole point here is to really being able to help you automate AIOps for the digital enterprise and integrate all your data types into your analytics capabilities with OpsBridge. So, from a high level, the main use cases that we're addressing today is helping you to automate hybrid IT monitoring and discovery. We're helping you to do that across, the traditional environments today. We're helping you to do that across private and public clouds, all the big 3 that we're talking about in public clouds today with AWS, Azure, Google. We're adding more every single day to that span of tools that we're covering today. And when we talk about that, that comes to our next, core use case, and that's consolidation and reduction of noise in your environments. We talked about this data explosion that's, continuing to evolve in our culture today. And today with OpsBridge, we're supporting over 200 plus integrations across these different types of hybrid IT environments that you guys are working with today. And we definitely are always expanding that list, and we've taken a lot of our customers' feedback in the past to help build new integrations even for those, okay? Our third use case that we have is automated AIOps and remediation, right? So this is all about how do I get to the root cause? How do I become more proactive to finding issues quicker, to getting to the core issue, and helping to reduce the amount of incidents and events that are in my environment today. And then also we automate the remediation part of that. We have over 8,000 scripts and runbooks out of the box today with our leading orchestration engine with operations orchestration to help you actually go out there and make changes to get those problems solved. Analyzing application health is our fourth use case that we're addressing. This is really diving down into end user monitoring and helping to help you meet your business SLAs and help keep your business applications healthy, get a good understanding of what your users are actually seeing in the applications. And then our fifth use case that we're going to finalize up today, we're going to talk a lot about this one, is custom dashboarding and reporting with OpsBridge. There's a lot of evolution going on with this, in particular with what we're starting to address with collect once, store once. And so with that I think would be a good transition for Kara. I'm going to go ahead and pass over to you to get started on COSO.
Thank you very much, Wes, and good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Yep, I'm going to be talking now about COSO. If you are not familiar with it, I'll explain. First, I'm going to give you an overview of the IT Operations Management Suites, where the OpsBridge suite sits. Most of you have probably seen this slide if you've been to our summit or to Micro Focus Universe this week. But you know that the OpsBridge suite is one of 5 that sits in the ITOM platform, and that platform sits on top of a group of microservices. And of those microservices, the 2 that we're going to concentrate on here are Collect Once, Store Once, also known as COSO, and the business value dashboards and reporting. So that's where we want to take a look today. And both of those areas live under our OpsBridge suite, but they'll apply to all of the suites in the platform. So let's just take a quick step back and talk about Collect Once, Store Once. What is Collect Once, Store Once? So what we want to do is to have a common collection unified into one database or one data warehouse using Vertica. So we're unifying that collection. We're optimizing the ingestion of the data from all of these suites into that data warehouse. We're going to make it fast and scalable so that it can handle huge workloads from all of those suites. And then that would also make it cost effective because you don't need to have multiple databases for all of your multiple products. So if we look here across the top, you see all of the suites, and the grayed out ones are on the horizon. Hybrid Cloud Management, OpsBridge already have their data loaded into Collect Once, Store Once, into COSO, and then there's the ability for some external data to come into COSO as well. And then the consumable services that can use COSO are the dashboards and reporting, which we'll be talking about it, and the analytics and optimization in the background. So all of these microservices would be able to use COSO, the data that's collected from all of the suites. If we want to take a little bit more in-depth look, we can see the across the bottom here, all of the OpsBridge data that is currently being collected right now in COSO. So if you took our current release, you would have all of these from Operations Agent across to RUM. And then in our next release, we're looking, and especially exciting would be data from our network management suites. So then all of that data would be available in Collect Once, Store Once, along with the other OpsBridge and HCM data. So how are we going to visualize all this data? Now that we have it all sitting here in this big data warehouse, what are we going to do to actually take that data and create some useful content? So right now, let's go from what we have right now. We offer OpsBridge Reporter, which is a historical reporting tool. And then we also offer, at the same time, Business Value Dashboard, which is concentrated on real-time business metrics. But from feedback from customers, just like you, we've decided that you want more options and easier options. And what we've decided to do is fold in the functionality of OpsBridge Reporter, that historical data analysis, ability to look at tabular data. We're going to fold that into Business Value Dashboard so that you would be able to create not only historical reports, but you would also be able to keep your real-time data available on the dashboard at the same time if you wish, and kind of mix that data together and create dashboards that also embed historical reports as well. So just some sort of visualization. We know that BVD, not only can you visualize it on the screen, but once you've built it, the dashboard widgets will rearrange depending on what you're viewing it. So if you're viewing on a tablet or a mobile phone, the widgets would rearrange and you would be able to see all of that data just as you would right now in BVD. We're already offering some dashboards right now from some of our products on COSO. So we do have some out-of-the-box reports available. And this is an example of our RUM dashboards that are available out of the box. And then the other thing that we're offering is kind of a template, so that if you don't know where to start creating a dashboard on your own, or if you just don't feel like you know how to design a dashboard, we offer these templates out of the box so that you can start creating and populating those templates with your own data that you have collected already in COSO. Another option that we recently released is the ability for you to take a business value dashboard and export it to a PDF. So since we're working on this ability to provide historical information in our next release, at this point, what you're able to do is, if you have a dashboard that shows a certain amount of data, you can schedule for that data to be copied to a PDF on a regular basis. You can schedule those report creations whenever you want to capture your history, and then be able to compare that. But until we can get to the point where we're giving you the actual historical data widgets in BVD. And these are just some examples of how creative some of our customers have been with BVD. You can see that customers can put geo maps. They'll put in the background their own company icons and so forth. And there are like many types of different widgets that they would want to put to display data, donut styles and bars and line charts as well. So the second part of how to visualize data is something where we want to give you even more flexibility. And this is what we're calling BYOBI, Bring Your Own Business Intelligence Tool. So a lot of customers have come to us already in the past and said, I would like to use my own business intelligence tool to visualize my data, my OpsBridge data, be it from Microsoft Power BI or Tableau or Click. Those are probably the three most popular ones I hear about from customers. I would like to use these instead to create my own report, so I have that flexibility. So what we've released, and I think this is also going to be on the page today from the webinar, is a white paper that explains how to bring your own business intelligence tool to extend your reporting that way. And this is available right now. So anybody who is already using our containerized suite using COSO can you start using this right now. So this white paper gives you the kind of a guideline, and in this white paper we've chosen to start using with Microsoft Power BI because that was the most popular response that we had heard from customers using. However, Tableau and Click, we would follow up with white papers specific to those as well. However, the idea is the same no matter which BI tool you would use. The same idea behind how you would build a report and customize it and pull in metrics from a table would all be in there. So this one is just an example dashboard, but I'm going to take from this example, I'm going to show you a demo using that actual example. So if you give me a couple seconds, I'm going to change my screen over to my demo. Okay, so I think you should be able to see the demo now. I'm going to start the demo now, and you should be able to see that screen. This is the same report I was showing you before. You can see there we have counters and be able to see the static line across there. That's a line we just threw in there ourselves. So if you look, we can see in the next, this is going to be using the same exact report, how we have filters. So we've set up all of our counters and filters on the side, and you can see as we click and unclick these, the lines will appear and disappear on the report. And then next example is how on that same exact report again, we're using the drill up and down arrow. So if we hit the drill down arrow, right now we can see we're showing it an hourly basis. If we click it, it moves to a daily basis. And then if we click up again, then it would move to a monthly basis. And then we can use these hierarchical, the double down arrows to change those from day to hour to month again. A couple of other examples that we have built just to show a display. These are the total packets, CPU, memory utilization in BPM. And this one you can see we actually put two graphs on the same report. And this one is also a BPM showing transactions and applications as well. And this one you can see we can use a slider to kind of see the data over time. So let's see how we create a report from scratch. So let's start. Here's a table. The first thing we would need to do with our raw data table is take our time and create it as a date. Timestamp is actually readable by a human. So we'll apply a date time and create a column there. And then what we're going to do is we'll format that column to a date time, and then we'll sort it so that when, obviously, we want our data sorted so that when we display it, it's in order. And we apply that. And then we go over to our blank screen and we'll apply what type of graph. And we'll apply what some various filters and choose all of our monitors that we want to display on our graph. So we'll pull these over, and these will become those tick boxes that you saw on the screen before that you can check and uncheck to see your data show up on the screen. And next we're going to choose what type of graph. So this one, in this case, we're going to have a line graph. We position it and size it. And now what we can do is start populating that. So we had chosen the date and time before, which we would check and apply to our x-axis. And then the same counter names that we had chosen that are lined up on our left side, we're going to apply those to the y-axis. They're a little bit scrunched up right now because, there we go. We move this out. It's actually a line graph. It's kind of scrunched up, but you can get the idea there. And then the last thing we'll do here is just kind of put a title on that, and then we're back. And there's the graph that we had before, and we can tick and untick our boxes and see how our data appears and disappears. So that's the end of my demo. I think now we're going to jump into a quick poll to see how the just kind of get some feedback from you so far before we switch over to Bala's part of the presentation.
That's correct. Thank you. Awesome job. Okay, so this is really important though. All three presenters, Wes and Bala and Kara, obviously have strategy hats. They're always trying to perfect the product so you have something that's valuable to your company. So this feedback's really important. So we only have one poll question, and you should be able to see it on your screen. You have a chance to vote, but let me read it to you. What do you use today to visualize IT data for your business stakeholders? And of course, there's I think 5 options here. Business Value Dashboard from Micro Focus, Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, Click, or developed your own. So go ahead and take a little bit of time to check the box and submit your response. And then Wes, you and I can kind of navigate through the results, and you can give some commentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we do realize that there's a lot of BI tools out there today, right? And that you guys might be in motion with some of those already. And so we just like to get some feedback from you to understand, hey, are you working with BVD and OpsBridge today? Are you using tools like, Microsoft Power BI? Is it a mix? Or maybe you've developed some of your own dashboards. I've definitely seen a lot of customers do that too. But definitely, I think the whole point that we want to communicate across the board is that we give you guys the flexibility, right? That you can utilize, our own BVD, or you could utilize, a third-party tool that you're using today and get that data out of COSO and populate that in a dashboard. Okay, so how are we doing on results so far? I think I saw a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it about 10 more seconds, and we'll kind of read the results. Just trying to move this over. Okay, so out of those 5 choices, it looks like we have the top 2 are kind of tie at 29% each, and that is Microsoft Power BI and Tableau. So those 2 are at 29%, and that's followed by, I apologize, 50% is developed their own, and then 29% each Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, and then we go to Business Value Dashboard, and last place is Click. So I don't know if that's surprising to you, Wes. Kind of makes sense to me. See this a lot.
I would say, yeah, that kind of fits with what we usually see in various audiences in our events. So, yeah, thank you.
No, not a problem. Okay, does Bala pick up from this point?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So my name is Bala, and I'm going to take you through a couple of slides, which is going to discuss about the out-of-the-box BVD reports that are available in the APM products, and which are showing the data from the COSO database central data store, which Kara discussed about. That's number one. And we are going to see a demo of creating a BVD dashboard from the data that is available on COSO. These are the 2 things we'll be covering it today. So I think Kara has very well covered what is COSO and what are the problems that we are solving with that. So the key point from this slide is, as today, the products that we have in APM portfolio, which is the BPM, RAM, and diagnostics, all these data are already available in COSO, and that means they are available to be charted in BVD reports or dashboards, number one. And number two, there are already out-of-the-box dashboards that are available, which I'm going to discuss now. So what you see now is BVD dashboard that's already available in the product. That is showing the data of the RAM data that is logged by RAM into the central data store, which is COSO. So as you can see on the left side, this is the high-level view of any application that is getting monitored. In this case, it is Advantage shopping application. And for all the applications that are getting monitored, this kind of tile will be made available so that the user can already look into from a bird's eye view and then understand what is the user experience of that application that is getting monitored and how many of the users are online at that point of time and how the response time is going to be. Is it good, or is it okay, or it's really bad? And it's also going to show you the availability of that application, right? And this is per user session perspective. And also it's going to show the unique users on the page views of that application as well over the time, right? So as a user, the first thing is to look at this quick status overview of that application. And if the user wants to drill down into that, then you can press and then get into the right side what you see here. So it's going to show the users, the performance, and the availability, and overall what is the score for that application. If it is it in what zone? It's in red zone, or it's in green zone, or it's okay zone, it's a fair zone. If it is in any of these zones, and it is possible to see, what are the 5 pages that are users are impacted, and then also what are the score of this overall score over the period of time, as well as it's going to show during that same period of time what are the number of users are there. And not only that, this BVD's particular dashboard is also showing the servers that are hosting this application, right? So as you can see here, these are the 10 front-end servers. There are back-end servers, and then servers that are time, and then there are 3 servers showing slow response time, and there are top 3 servers throwing errors, and so on. So the key takeaway from this dashboard is going to help the user to give, first of all, the bird's eye view, and somebody wants to look in deep into that, they can look not only from an application perspective, but also the infrastructure that is hosting this application, how is it behaving. Okay. The second dashboard, this is also already available in the product. This is again a BVD, which is business value dashboard, and this time this is showing the data from BPM. So here it is showing the the set of applications that are getting monitored, and what you see on the left top is the list of applications by the worst availability, right? So that's one information. And the second is showing the list of application by slowest response time as well, which is the left bottom. And what you see on the center is the geographical data, and from each of these geographies, what is the availability of this particular application, or as well as what is the response time of that as well. And what you see on the right hand side is the other key business applications, right, and what are their status from a very high level perspective. So it is possible to track performance of these key business applications, and also it's possible to reconcile the regions with respect to the performance as well as the response time as well. And third one is, again, this is a very popular use case from a BPM perspective. So again, this data, this BVD is showing the data from the COSO. And what you see here is the list of applications that are getting monitored by this particular user. And this is showing all those applications health in a high level, in a bird's eye view. So it's going to show whether it is good or bad, or it's any critical issues are there. And not only that, it's possible to see and integrated custom content like this. For example, here it shows the events and what kind of events are there, right? What severity are there, and so on. And then the application infrastructure as well. So this is another BVD dashboard showing that. So in this case, for example, if somebody wants to drill down from here, a particular application which is showing red, and the person can click and then go to the next dashboard, which is going to take to this the over the time availability and performance report, or a dashboard here. So here we can see it's very flexible to use. It is easy to just type the name of it, right on the top, and then it's possible to filter that by just typing that, for example, investment research, and show the data for last 12 hours and so on. So this is the flexible filtering by application time and so on. Here what you see on the left hand side is a breakdown by the location, right? So this is again showing the various transaction performance, and for each of these performance it's showing over the time how was the status of that. Okay, so this is again depicting data from COSO and BPM, and this should be the key takeaway should be how easy it is to look at it, how easy to show, and the value out of this data. This is not just the information, but we are showing actionable data. Okay, so now I want to switch to a quick demo. As I said, this demo is going to cover how to create a BVD dashboard for showing data that is already there in COSO database. So what you can see here is uh, what we are going to do now is to create a dashboard for an application, which is going to show for a given couple of locations. In this example, what I have taken is a location from India and the United States, and it's going to show for the past hour, the average response time and the number of online users and the trend of online users for those geographical locations. So we are going to create such a business value dashboard with an application with this data. Not only that, we are going to have a couple of more metrics as well, which are total number of online users in past hour, as well as the total number of failures in the past hour as well. Okay, so let us see step by step what need to be done, and it can be created. So the first one is to show its first one is to create an appropriate queries, right? So as we discussed, there are 5 data points. So the first thing is to create such query and then validate these queries in the Vertica database. So this is what we're going to see in the next few seconds. So it's just creating a query and then selecting it whether it is returning data. So it's just going fast because this is the same thing we are doing for all those 5 different data points. So now just validating, that it is possible and query is valid and it is returning data. As a second step is to create data collectors for each of these. Using these queries, I need to create a data collector on BVD, right? So this is the input for those data collectors are going to be these queries that we just created and verified. So here, each of these data collectors are getting created. The first one is getting created, and the name is average response time for India over the past hour. And then we're copying this appropriate SQL query, and then validating that and saving it. And the same steps are getting repeated for the 5 data points, and hence we are creating 5 different data collectors, right? So this time is the total number of online users, total errors over the past time. So just creating this data points or data collectors. And the next step is to choose a base template, right? These base templates are already available in the marketplace here, right? It is very easy to just to click and then use. In this case, if you notice, what you're going to see is the the web web channel, because we want to show, we want to use the geographical information here. That is the template that we are going to use for this sample. So it is chosen, and then this is the sample template that we have got. This is what we are going to customize it and populate it. As the next step, is to create a visual representation of the dashboard. It's nothing but we got this now a sample dashboard, and we are going to customize it. For example, if you want to use it for your company, you need to put your logo and rename this, whatever the customization that are required. So that's the steps happening, and changing the application name, for example, as Advantage Shopping application. Next is changing the logo into, for example, a company logo here, Advantage Shopping. And then, as we said, we are going to show only for 2 locations. So for this example, we're deleting other 2 locations, and then adding the line graph because we will need to show that response time from there. And that's a similar change that we are doing for other 2 places as well here down. Just providing the online users for last hour, and then errors for last hour, and then it is saved. Okay, so we got downloaded this dashboard template, customized it, saved it. Okay, right, so this is going to be my EEM dashboard. So now we got the dashboard that is ready to use. Then now we need to populate it with the data. So just exporting it, whatever is created, we are just exporting it, and then we need to import this. Just seeing what has got exported now. Yes, this is the exported one, and then the next step is to the export this visual to the SVG, and then import the same thing into the BVD. Right, that's the next step. So it's exported, and then as a next step, we're going to go back to the business value dashboard and then import this particular dashboard which we created out of the template. Yeah, just add it, and then choose the file that you exported, choose that, and then open it. So at this point of time, whatever the customized dashboard that is available for the population here, and then the next step is going to be linking the dashboards to data collector. So we created the data collector fields now. Now that collector fields are already having queries, and then those data collector fields are going to get assigned to these. Okay. So here is you choose each of these fields, and then you choose the data collector on the right side properties box and assign it. So here, for example, the first one is average response time for USA, and then it is going to be the next one is appropriately for each one of these values it is getting assigned. These are nothing but those data collectors that we created in the previous step. Once this is collected, then it is connected, is stored, and then the next step is going to be viewing the dashboard. Right, so now everything is ready. We are just going to view the dashboard now. So go there into the BVD and go to the dashboards, and it is already available for viewing. So when you look at it now, the information is from a USA site perspective. There's a response time available, the number of users online are available, over the period what is happening is available here as well. Similarly from India, a response time, users online, and also there's total online users for the last hour, and then the total errors that were created generated during the last hour. So this is a very quick.
Bala, we're not hearing your audio, just so you know.
Yeah, thank you.
you're back.
Yeah.
Can you go back to what you were showing on this demo?
Yes. So we have finished this demo, right? And yeah. So over to you, Terry.
Oh, the demo's finished. Okay, can you go then
Yeah.
continue showing your slides? Sorry, change
Yes.
over to
Yes.
your slide share.
Yes. So we are on the QA. Any question answers that need to be handled now?
Yeah, and Bala, if you can go back to from showing your video, change it to showing your screen and your slides.
Okay. To
Yeah,
screen.
Or
while
I
Val is doing that, just a reminders, anyone that has questions, take advantage of that question pane and put your questions, hit submit. We are getting a few questions coming in. That's great, but we want to get those Q&As going at the end of this webinar, which I know we're getting to the top of the hour. So just a quick reminder. Thank you.
Hope you are able to see my presentation now.
We can. It says Q&A.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, as I mentioned, a few came in. Keep putting the questions in the pane. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is go to the queue of questions, read them out, and then let the presenters, whichever one's appropriate, to answer it on the spot or at least give some color around the question. And the first one we have is COSO containerized? Wes, you want to take that one or?
Yeah, so actually I was going to see Kara, if Kara's
Yes,
available.
I was going to. Yeah, it is containerized. COSO is part of our newer releases, which are containerized. As we go forward, the containerization strategy for the ITOM platform and suites is so that it would be easier for customers to be able to take advantage of the microservices across all of the suites in the platform. And that would also help make upgrades and migrations a lot easier over time. So hopefully that was not too long an answer for, instead of just saying yes, it is containerized.
Perfect. Thank you. One similar about COSO, asking, does COSO collect data from non-Micro Focus software tools?
Yes, COSO can collect data from other tools outside of our suites. Yes, we can do that as well. We can set that up. And the same as well for BVD. I would add, BVD is pretty flexible. You can actually pull in not just data, but you can actually embed RSS feeds and video streaming as well into Business Value Dashboard.
Okay, thank you. A lot of COSO questions. I think I saw a slide on this early in the presentation. The question is, what third-party BI tools do you support with COSO?
Mm-hmm. And it could be there. We would survive. Like we already talked about the three most popular ones that we've heard, and I think a lot of feedback from the poll question kind of confirmed that. We mostly hear about Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, and Click. However, there are some smaller tools that other customers have asked us about, and as long as those are SQL ready, then they could be used to collect data and present data from COSO.
Awesome. There is another question just asking if there's a place on any of the product websites, I assume for customers, where you can evaluate OpsBridge and some of this capability.
And the answer for that is also yes. I think we may have in the call to action slides a link to the OpsBridge GitHub site, which is available to customers. And on there are various options for downloading trials, including BVD and OpsBridge, I believe. I think, I don't, is there, do we have that
Yeah, and
slide there?
Yeah, and we also do have a trial that's available on our public website too at microfocus.com/OpsBridge.
Okay, awesome. I do not see many other questions. I know there was a few issues, so I apologize on audio, et cetera, but I think it was largely cleared up as we traversed through the webinar. So we're going to do our final wrap up. Again, all these Q&As, slides, demos are all going to be sent in a link after the fact, so you'll get to review this with your colleagues that could not make it. So next slide, please. Okay.
Yeah, so Jim, if you'd like me to, I could cover, I think, a couple of these slides here that we've got.
That'd be
So
awesome.
essentially, yeah, so a few closing items. Guys, thank you so much for your time today. We've got a few things that we want to point you to for additional learning resources. So here's a link that will take you out to the GitHub site that Carol was talking to you guys about. Get a little bit more on the visualization information. We do have a white paper on bring your own business intelligence tools today. Talk about getting those set up for you in your own environments. If we can go to the next slide, please. All right, and then, hey, if you're looking for some additional inspiration, we did pass these out at the ITOM Summit as well as Microfocus Universe this week. I've put the link in here to our AHA book that we've written recently on next generation IT operations. We've got a few forwards there by Luke Bradley from Vodafone Group, Tony from Rabobank, as well as Travis Green, who is our director of ITOM product marketing within Micro Focus, and is really pushing forward the next generation of hybrid IT management solutions with Micro Focus. So if you're looking for some just quick inspiration, it's a great book to go out there and read. It's all in like a tweet style format, so you can really blow through this thing pretty quickly. So we thought we'd share that. And then the last slide that I got for you today, if we can go forward. All right, so additional resources and learning. We talked about the vendor profile that EMA had written on Micro Focus OpsBridge for a leader in advanced IT analytics. That report is hot off the press. We've got a copy of it available for you. We do have a new Gartner analyst report that we have purchased the reprint distribution rights from Gartner for. It is titled broaden application performance monitoring to support digital business transformation. Definitely some good stuff there on some thought leadership on what's going on in the evolution of the APM space. And we align very well to that from our go-to-market today with OpsBridge. We've got a couple of white papers that we've mentioned. We mentioned one of them from EMA earlier, as well as one that we have out on our public website as well. Of course, we just want to point you guys to these additional assets for if a lot of people look for additional learning out there. So with that, I think we can go to our next slide here, and that should be our closing slide. So everybody, thank you so much for your time today, and we will make sure that if there's been additional questions that have come in, we'll make sure to get to those and get them addressed. And Jim, with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you. I don't know if you had anything to close with.
Yeah, just like the 60 seconds we have left, if somebody can hit the next slide. So on the Vivid website, there's always upcoming events, so you can check it out on your own. The ones that are coming up in the short term are 2 in April and 1 in May. I'm not going to read them specifically, but they'll be on the slides, and you certainly may want to partake of these events. They're well done always. Some are on site, some are webinars, but please take note of these 2 in April and 1 in May. Next slide, please. And for those who kind of sit on the application delivery management side of the fence, which is largely the testing tools, there is a annual user summit by Micro Focus. There's ones for security, there's ones for ITOM operations. This one's for ADM, and it's coming up in Chicago, and you may want to attend if that's something you care about. Next slide, please. Okay, and last but not least, we would love if you can take a survey and give some feedback on this webinar and any other topic you wish. You'll see that opportunity after this webinar. Takes about 30 seconds to fill it out, and we would appreciate it. So with that, thanks everybody. Try to stay on the timelines. Wes, awesome. Kara, Bala, great job, and I'm sure we'll get some feedback from the audience to you very shortly after this webinar. Have a great day, a great evening, a great morning. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.